I've never even seen this. A hideous woman. It's not really my type. Wouldn't do it. Not really into her. She's not. What do you call it? What's the word? The American word. A very American word. Wonderful word. She's not beautiful at all. Very non-beautiful. So this is the case. He, of course, lost the case against her. She sued him for defamation when he said that she was a liar or something like that. I don't know. It's very stupid. But or she sued him for the sexual harassment, I guess, or sexual assault. And no, yeah, defamation. She sued him for defamation. And here's what he did. He recently asserted presidential immunity. This thing's been going on for a while. This case was filed in 2019. Sorry, trying to wrap my brain around how all this played out and what I want to say. But this case was filed in 2019. He recently tried to assert presidential immunity. Okay? Now, if you remember the election interference cases, many of them were dismissed on grounds called standing. You don't have standing to sue. Some of them were dismissed on this interesting principle called latches. Latches basically are where the court says it's not the right time, and if the court were to intervene here, it would be unfair to the other party. If the court were to, at this late stage, take some action, it would be unfair. You waited too long is the idea. Well, that's what happened here. But the problem is the claim is presidential immunity. So we now have a really interesting question that's going to have to go to the Supreme Court, because the appeals court effectively said that Trump waited too long to assert immunity, therefore he waived the immunity. There's a problem with that. Presidential immunity is not statutory immunity. It is constitutional immunity because, in part, the judicial branch ruling over the executive branch would be a violation of the separation of powers. Now, I don't know that Trump would have immunity from E. Jean Carroll, although I guess he would claim his statements are part of his duties as president because of something, but they seem personal. So, I don't know that he should have immunity in this case. I'm not actually 100% convinced of that. But what I do know is that an appeals court creating the idea that presidential immunity has waiver is very weird. That is new. That's not something, there's no established principle on waiver of presidential immunity. And presidential immunity, again, it's not statutory. It's based on the inability of the judiciary to make a ruling against the executive that violates the separation of powers without a clear constitutional mandate. They don't have the ability to do it. That's what immunity is based on, because you won't find presidential immunity in the Constitution. It doesn't exist in the text. It's a concept created out of the idea that the court cannot hold itself over the executive by making rulings on it. So how do you waive that? If the judicial branch does not have the power to do something, you can't waive that and give it to them. But they said Trump waited too long. He waited too long to assert this immunity. He shouldn't even need to assert the immunity. He has it. He didn't expressly waive it. So we're going to have to look at what it says. But yes, this is getting appealed. This is, again, these are one of those crazy outcomes where you go, this has to be political. This has to be motivated. It has to be biased, because you cannot, if you know how immunity works, you can't come to this concept of, well, you could waive it though. The way immunity is structured in this instance, it's not waivable because it's not a privilege. It's an immunity. Anyway, we'll get into it in just a second. Aaron Hack, Nick, what do you think of Vivek's comments on CNN about Whitmer? Genius. I have no idea what he said about Whitmer, but if it's anything other than Whitmer is a piece of garbage who needs to be removed from office, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Whitmer's a piece of garbage who needs to be removed from office. Ben Frail says Clinton tried that with Jones. Doesn't work against civil suits. No, it does. It does. The thing was, I think with Jones, Clinton was president at the time the suit was brought, but the act he was being sued over was when he was not president. In this case, the defamation claims from Trump or from E. Jean Carroll against Donald Trump, the defamatory statements are made while Trump was president. There's a difference here. Clinton's thing was when he was governor, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm not sure what Vivek said about Whitmer. Maybe we could look it up. 3 says, speaking of totally not a weirdo, have you seen the Viva posts of Engeron topless pics to his high school alumni newspaper? Yes, we covered them. That dude's juicing, I'm pretty sure. That dude's juicing. He's got like really thick bicep veins. That looks like for a guy who's like 80 or whatever. Like they're thick bicep veins in general, and little noodly arms like mine, but they're fucking huge. So tells me probably juicing. But talking about the Fed conspiracy. All right, we'll look up the Vivek comments in a minute. I want to look at this Trump thing. Here we go. So salon.com, this will be very unbiased.